Hi there, and welcome to a new live stream. Let's hop into the current state of the app first, and then I'll explain what we are going to work on first in this session. So here's the table view that has a context menu now, proper context menu. I mean, it's all dummy context menu, but it is context menu. So the graph view here, which also has a context menu. Same thing, almost same thing, I think. Not sure. Same thing. And here is the settings panel, which now is loading on demand because I don't remember quite why I did this, but it just takes so long for this thing to load. So this app launches faster now, also for testing and debugging and such, because these three tabs, they don't load initially. Then here's the rules panel, which now can be configured to be opening on the left or right. Yeah. And when we go in here, then we can access the rooms edit layer. Two things, these layers, they have significant loading times, which I think depend on the graph view, because according to AI, this depend mostly due to the graph view being so large. So when you open up a layer like the settings layer, as you can see here, there is some significant lag, or let's call it stuttering, since it's not network related. And the same thing goes for this one here. So this is not very fast. Maybe it's faster if you run it in DOM0, because you're then gonna have native like GPU rendering, hardware accelerated GPU rendering, that is. But I don't think it's gonna be much faster. Well, I'll get into that later. All right, that's that. And then for the to-do item, so the current to-do is make the rooms panel in Qubes page horizontally resizable by clicking and dragging on the separator. Let me show that quickly in the app that I just closed. So when you open up the rooms panel, let's put this on the right side because I like it better there. There's the separator here, and I want to be able to click and drag to change the location of the separator basically, and thus the size of the Qubes page, this one here, and the size of the rooms panel. I mean, this would be a very convenient feature because I want to be able for the people to be able to add more columns here, and then this width changes, and maybe you have like here a long room name that you want to be able to read in in full. So this would be a helpful feature. And yeah, Claude has been added for now 25 minutes, which is using up almost 400k tokens for this issue. So I asked it to, which you can see up here, have a look into this, whether this is possible at all without implementing a huge workaround or something like that. And like do this as in the Kirigami framework. Like, does this framework provide anything that makes this easy to implement? But don't make any changes yet, just report. And seems to be done now, like writing it now, but I don't know what's going on with the font choice here. Like, what's up with the font choice? Like also adjacent palette. Like, what? Don't use your own palette? And what's going on here? Like, did it derail in those 26 minutes? I had a look into open source Git GUIs that support work trees, because work trees are for AI agent related workflows. Like, work trees are frequently used, I think, at least for Cloud Code it is. And I don't think there are any nice GUIs that support work trees. Git up here is a nice GUI, but it doesn't support work trees. And then there's Git Kraken, which is a nice GUI, but fairly, heavyweight. Let's call it heavyweight because the installation takes up around 600 megabytes on my Fedora 44 VM. But it's closed source. I don't know whether it's open core or closed source entirely. I'm not sure about that. But that supports work trees nicely, but closed source, at least partially. And yeah, then there is Orca, which supports work trees, but I'm not a big fan of the GUI, I have to say. Like, at least the Git integration, I mean, just not a big fan. I like GitHub much better. So summary, there is, to me, no satisfactory solution for this. So which I'm now gonna do is just ask Claude Code to do the commit in the chat, commit to the working branch, that is, and then ask it to delete. Well, I can do this. No, I can't do this myself. Delete the work tree inside the chat as well. This is really wasteful. Maybe I can just write down the Git commands to do this myself in the future. Wasteful in the sense of, resource heavy. This is like probably, I don't know, 1-2 command lines statements, and just passing this to AI every single time, it's, wasting resources. All right, this is done. HTML report. Yes, and it's a small change. It's an upstream bug, it says. So things to wait before you commit. Did it actually work on a worktree? No. Did it make any changes? No. Then I don't know what it's talking about. Looking work free. Wait. Working branch. There. It's really good that AI can, uh, so quickly scan the source files of a framework and actually look into everything. So it doesn't rely on documentation being thorough. So, it just scans through everything and finds out, what you can work with. But obviously, would be better if the framework was, I'm not even sure whether this is documented or not because I'm not looking it up myself anymore. Yeah. Like I think it just scanned through the C++ source file of Kirigami. I don't know why it needs a binding component here to set this to a value. I mean, we can, since it's working on a worktree, Rules panel resize it's called. We can have a look at the app in the meantime, play around a bit, and see whether we find anything that we can work on later on. Just resize those a little bit. All right. Yeah, so what I want to do next is actually work on this context menu. So we can wire up the settings entry here, the template switching, the network switching, these here, because they're implemented in the dummy backend already, these here, and this, and this, and this we can't do yet. Yeah. this is taking long for, I mean, what I understood is pretty simple change. Would actually be good if I had a separate machine that I could run the whole thing in DOM0 now. But from what I understood, you actually need a separate machine. You can't do this in a VM. But let's confirm that. How to set up a test bench in the Qubes OS docs 4. Where am I? Developers debugging. We will set up a spare machine, bare metal, not a virtual, that will be hosting our experimental DOM0. We will communicate with it via Ethernet and SSH. So the setup intentionally weakens some security properties in the testing system, so make sure you understand the risks and use exclusively for testing. Uh, hmm. So certainly don't want to do this on this machine here. And the other machine I'm using for streaming, you know, and um, yeah, well, maybe I can run Qubes OS on the streaming machine. Maybe that works. And dual boot. Yeah. Oh, it's done. I just want to finish reading the dual boot. Oh, no, let's go here first. Kirigami draws the handle and does the dragging. The app just switches it on and keeps the layout on as the 4 pieces. Two things are changed from plan in the report, both found while writing it. Saving hangs off the drag ending, not off the width. What? Saving hangs off the drag ending, not off the width. The panel reads the shared minimum once, once, ounce, once into shared minimum once into a property of its own rather than in each binding. Costs 20 minutes, so it'll feel heavier here than on the table. Let's see. So here it is, main file. No warnings. Correct cursor. Yeah, that looks great. And it's also very fluid. Pretty fluid. Fantastic. And we need to just change here the column width that it takes up the remaining space, like the name column, that is. Great. No warnings here. Tell me how to commit this worktree into the working graph. So here's the worktree, rooms panel resize, and there's the branch here. Just doesn't have any commits. Okay. Uh, That's interesting. I don't know how this works. Like a message, and then you add the actual message. Then you put message again. I can do that from the GUI, the Git GUI. All right. And approach this push. Then delete the branch. Like deleting the branch in GitHub seems to be a bit buggy because I just did it and it doesn't update the GUI. And I think if I restart it, then it would show no. But if I then wait like a few minutes and then refresh, then it's actually gone. So let's wait. Clean up the work tree and let me note this one down first. No. Only after the session has let go of it is currently locked by the session, so either answer remove at prompt within session access or afterwards. This might be why this doesn't work, because it's the branch and the worktree is locked by Cloud Code. Uh, let's save that as following notes. Git, don't have Git yet. The directory commit change on Cloud Code worktree and associated working branch into the working. Okay, nice. Now worktree is gone, and now the branch should be gone as well. Great. And this is pushed, and everything's in master. Good. Just thinking about how I would best go on about, giving Cloud Code access to dom0 on a separate machine, that is, so it can test Qubes OS related code, like actually adding a working backend that does real things. Yeah. And we could like set up an SSH server inside dom0. And then Cloud can do stuff there. So that's done. Can close this issue in the GitLab as well. Right. So, yeah. I actually want to tackle this one here. So, right, so I need to install Qubes OS on my streaming machine and set it up. And then do the streaming from within a VM in the Qubes OS installation, because I need the second Linux installation for gaming, the bare metal Linux installation. And also set up dom0 on that second Qubes OS installation for testing the code. But I'm gonna program from this machine here. All right. So gonna do that now. Thank you for watching. No matter whether you're watching now or watching this as a video on demand, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.